Hello and welcome to Biology 242, the second half of the two-quarter Anatomy and Physiology sequence at Clark College. And this is the welcome and orientation video for Fall 2020's fully online version of A&P. So due to COVID-19 and also now due to fires and ongoing air quality issues, we will be joining each other virtually only for the duration of this term. I am your instructor, Christina Howard, and I'm just making this video to orient you all to how to navigate your Canvas shell, where you can find various important dates, information, assignments, tests, and so on, and just some other details of the syllabus and the course. So, I'm looking forward to getting to know you throughout the term, and with that, let's begin. So first things first, I have logged into the Canvas shell that you guys will be using. It's not published yet, so if you go look for it previous to September 21st, you won't find it. But I've also set it to student view so that when I walk you through stuff, the screen that you're seeing is going to look like what you will see when you log in, because it looks different for me from the instructor. So, every time you click into your Canvas page, you will land on this welcome page. The goal being to make navigating the course as seamless as humanly possible. So I've omitted a bunch of the options on the sidebar here to make navigation simpler. And I'm not going to use modules to pace or schedule the course, although they do exist and are clickable. But rather, I have just hyperlinked links to everything that you will need to navigate the course. So, first things first, since we will be meeting virtually on Zoom, let's click over to our Zoom meeting times. Okay, here we have a list of Zoom meetings. So, notice that there's a join button for each of them. So I have scheduled recurring Zoom meetings for all of the weeks of the course. It's only showing you ones up to relevant times right now, but if you were to click down here to future ones, you'll see future ones. So we will meet Mondays, 9 to 11, Tuesdays, 10 to 11, Wednesdays, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., and Thursdays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Now, these are recurring, meaning that every Monday, the Zoom session starts at 9 a.m. and ends at 11 a.m. So these are going to repeat for 11 iterations, one iteration per week of the term until they're done. However, I do want to say I will not be lecturing during Zoom. So all of these Zooms are scheduled and they exist, but you do not have to attend them, and attendance is not counted. So what that means for you is that you don't need to email me if you expect to miss a Zoom session, because although I'll miss you, it won't make any impact on your grade as far as attendance points are concerned. So that's good news. It enables you some flexibility, and I've tried to schedule both morning and evening sessions so that hopefully everybody has at least one time slot they can make it to. So, let's go back home. And the next thing will be the syllabus. Now, I am not going to read you the entire syllabus. I expect you to do that for yourself. However, I will show you a couple things using this. So, this section of text describes the point of these Zoom sessions, and we have the weekly Zoom session scheduling featured here. So these are your times that are available, and then we can just click on over to Zoom and join whichever meeting is applicable at the time that you want to join. So the reason that these are not required is because the goal of the Zoom meetings is for you to come to Zoom prepared to ask me questions or get clarification on stuff from lecture that you don't understand. Lecture is available on my YouTube channel. So I'm not going to click this because it's going to automatically start a video, but if you go back home, you can click this link to get to the YouTube playlist for lecture material, and you can click this link to get to the YouTube playlist for lab material. So these are both hyperlinked to my YouTube channel, specific playlists for your course. The reason that you should stick to the playlists is because I have other videos on my channel for other courses. And you don't want to end up watching a video that's not intended for you, unless of course you're curious, right? So this is the link where you can get to the lecture PowerPoint slides. Here they are. And then below that, you can also get to lab packets. These are similar to the lab packets you had last term. They list all the terms you need to know and describe which of those terms functions you need to know. And then down here, I have some helpful resources. So these are some extra histology atlases for you. And then, oops, I forgot to erase this. So the case studies I will explain in a moment, but this won't be here until after the case study due dates because I don't want you to see the answers before you complete them. So let's click on back over to home. So over here in To Do, you can see a list of upcoming things. And for every single assignment in the course, I have entered it into the calendar. So if you click View Course Calendar, you'll see when Zoom meetings occur, as well as when something is due. So there is a course orientation quiz for some extra credit that is due on Saturday the 26th, for example. And you can also click Forward in Time to see when other things are due. So for example, here's some due dates, here's something happening. So make sure that you're staying on top of the calendar. Not only that, but the schedule for things is listed also in the quiz menu. So one thing that's been happening in previous terms is that students will claim they were unaware of when something was occurring. That is not acceptable because you can see it here, you can see it on the calendar, and if you go to assignments, the availability range and due date for every single assignment is listed under the assignment name, and you can see it. What this means is I should not be receiving any emails from students saying, I didn't know X was happening at Y time. There's many places to find that information. So, hopefully what that means for you guys is that everything is super clear as far as when you're expected to complete tasks, which takes a little bit of the guesswork out of navigating this course, because I know that doing fully online school can be a little bit unfamiliar. So let's go back to the syllabus and discuss a couple more things. I am the lead instructor for lecture and lab. This is my course. I decide how it goes. I do have assistance from my lab instructor, Christina Wallace. I know it's confusing that both of us are named Christina, but the upside is that the Coalition of Science Christinas has your back for this course. So I haven't gotten word from her about when her recitation schedule is. I will post that when available. But Professor Wallace is only here for lab stuff, so please do not ask her lecture questions. She won't know the answer to them necessarily. Recitations will function for both lab and lecture, and the reason that they are not required is because you are to be watching the lecture videos I have prepared for you on YouTube. That takes the place of in-person lecture. So, if you come to recitation and you have nothing to ask and no one else does, we are all just going to end up sitting there in silence, which is awkward and weird, and also not a good use of your time. So, as you're studying and reading and watching, make a list of things that you don't quite understand or feel like you could use reinforcement on, and then come ready to ask me about those things. That's what those times are for. Okay, So that's parts of the syllabus. Let me move on down. You have your required textbook, but histology and anatomy atlases are optional. I do provide you with some free histology atlases over on the content page. I'm going to ask that you read the requirements, assessment, and grading on your own. I do want to make a couple points about exams, and this is just to be crystal clear right out front so that there is no ambiguity about this later. Exams are timed, and that is to ensure that they are rigorous, meaning that the expectation is that when you go to an exam, you have studied enough that you can answer every question. You're not supposed to be looking up every single answer on Google or in the textbook. So for that reason, they are timed, and they are timed a bit tightly. You also need to be prepared to take the test when you begin it, and you need to be sure that you engage in good practices as far as behaviors on your internet browser that will allow you to have success on the test, especially tests with pictures. So you need to be using the most up-to-date version of Firefox or Chrome. You need to clear your cache and cookies on your browser before you begin the test. And you need to minimize other processes going on your computer or your internet so that the test will load and stay loaded properly. The tests are randomized, meaning that the test that one student gets will not be identical to the test another student gets. And even if you do receive a couple of the same questions as another student, your answer choice order will be different. So what this means is 2 students cannot click start at the same time as each other and expect to help each other because they have the same test. That is not how this works. You can attempt each test twice if you want. However, if you do so, your final grade for that test will be the average of both your attempts. I cannot make the decision for you whether or not you should make the second attempt, and I will not do so. That is for you to decide. There are many more of you than there are of me, so I cannot go in and grade your first attempt and let you know how it went before the second. You need to make that decision for yourself. I do also want to note, with regard to academic honesty, I realize that technological issues sometimes arise. And that is why I've built the 2 attempts rule in, so that if something goes wrong, you have another chance. However, I also want you to know that if you email me requesting, for example, another attempt because something went badly as far as your computer malfunctioning, I need you to know that I can see a lot of information about what was going on your computer when you were taking the test. So I can see, for example, when you started and ended an attempt, when you viewed a question versus when you answered a question. I can see if you flagged a question, and I can see if you navigated away from Canvas. So what that means is, if you request something like another attempt due to, say, internet disruption, but you misrepresent in your email what I see happens in the log, I will not grant you another attempt. So this is a way to keep everyone honest and make sure that everybody is engaging in good academic integrity. So let's go have a look at what the testing log looks like so that you understand that I can see what's going on during your attempt. Here's what a log looks like. Obviously, I've hidden the student's name. So this is just telling me at what time they looked at or answered a question and whether or not they read it. I can also tell if the student navigated away from the Canvas page and a bunch of other things as well. And I can get even more information if I submit an IT request to Canvas support, asking things like which browser was used, etc. So just make sure that you're taking the test with integrity, and this should be no big deal. Similarly, case studies. I'll describe these assignments a little bit more in a moment, But first I want to show you how I check for plagiarism. So, the case study activities are long form, meaning that you're going to submit a document in which you have composed your own answers. They are not graded for accuracy, meaning you don't have to be correct to get full credit. You do have to show me effort and thoroughness, but you are not permitted to plagiarize these assignments. For some reason, even though the stakes are relatively low, i.e., you do not have to be accurate, you just have to show good logical thought, I still find that students try to plagiarize this assignment. So here's what I want you to know. I have the following capability. Here is a student assignment. All of the highlighted regions are regions that this student has plagiarized. If I click on the highlighted region, I can find exactly where that student lifted the text from. And I can compare how much identity the text has with the plagiarized source. So as you can see, there's quite a lot going on here. In fact, 86.5% of this student's work matched stuff from the internet exactly. And for that reason, this student received no credit for the assignment. So I realize the pressure is on, and you guys all really want to earn A's, but I need you to understand that if you try this, I will know, and you will receive a 0 for the assignment. So just don't do it. Okay, so I will let you read the rest of this on your own. This section down here is especially useful because this will show you what is on every single test. So that's a good idea to have a look at. So for now, let's click back to home. So the syllabus is there, PowerPoint slides are here. There are no PowerPoint slides for lab. The YouTube playlist and your lab packets are your primary sources for that. And if you click this link, you can get to all of your assignments. So there's lecture exam 1, or you can always just go to assignments, which is pretty easy. So here are all your tests with the dates and points values. So the course orientation quiz is the first thing you'll be completing. Here are your practicals, and here are your case studies. Now I'm going to change the names of these a little bit, but not much. So just finally about the case studies. Case study assignments are written assignments. They're not very long. They're worth 10 points each. In the case study, I basically give you an organized way to help you understand more difficult topics on each of your upcoming exams. And if you look, you'll notice that the case studies, 1, 2, 3, and 4, share due dates with the lecture exams because they're meant to help you prepare for them. So if you go to case study number 1, you'll find a clickable link to download the assignment. You'll find some guidelines on the assignment and the points, details, and stuff. Also down below, you'll find a rubric to show you how to earn full credit or almost full credit, how to earn credit, all the way down to what your assignment might look like if you got 1 or 0 points on it. So make sure you read the rubric, and those are all available. I would start with the first one, obviously, because it relates to the first set of material in your course. So with that, I'm going to leave you. But hopefully this orientation video, combined with thoroughly clicking through the information on Canvas, will help you complete your first quiz, which is the course orientation quiz due by midnight or almost midnight on September 26th, so end of the first week of fall quarter. I look forward to meeting you all, and I will see you on Monday, September 21st.